Hi, and welcome to 647, 6 stories for 7 a.m. because there's a famine of truth in our land. And this is your quick news fix. And the truth starts now. Now listen up. It's been reported to me that yesterday I was calling this thing everything but 647. There's only one explanation for that. You folks are not liking it enough. You're not sharing it enough so that it's being reinforced to me. How can I keep track of this thing if it's like a nebulous void? Okay? It's 647. Let's be clear about that. I don't care what I said yesterday. And we're ready for take one, Putin's oil allowance. That's right. This has something to do with all these meetings and all the rhinos saying, we're getting tough on Putin. We're going to write up these sanctions. We're just going to talk about sanctions, not the 54 billion that we're using to restart Lindsay's laundromat over there. Okay, I'm getting all off on things. Putin's oil allowance. Chinese refineries have purchased 15 cargoes of Russian oil for October and November. And guess what? All this was delivered last week during the Alaska summit, right? Is Putin a smart poker player? Oh, yeah, I'm so worried about your sanctions. Let's find out why he's not. Each cargo is between 700,000 and 1 million barrels. So the average order here from China, ordering from Russia, is 13 million barrels. How much is that for Vladimir's kitty? It's $8.45 billion every 2 months. And by the way, India buys more from Russia. Okay, so 20 billion coming in every 2 months will definitely keep the lights on for Vlad. Okay, and our Rhino Senate crowing on and on about punishing sanctions and writing this 15-page bill, and it's all a big masquerade to justify another already voted in $54 billion in aid to Lindsay's laundry in Kiev. It's disgusting, and Trump needs to stop these rhinos. They are an enemy of the people. It's just like that warlock Fink from the World Economic Forum. These people need to be stopped. If the president can't do it, who's going to do it? All right, take two. DC Libs hate, and I mean hate, law and order. The only law and order they like is when Dick Wolf makes it up and it's a big narrative joke. But real, true law and order, they hate it. Jamie Raskin, the dirtbag Democrat from Maryland, blathering on all weekend about how Trump is oppressing the people of Washington. Yeah, let me read you some of the stats of oppression over the last 2 weeks. Robbery down 46%, carjacking down 83%, car theft down 21%, violent crime down 22%, right? Affluent lefties are following Raskin's lead. You know how? By boycotting restaurant life in D.C. Restaurant reservations are down 31% over the last 2 weeks. And what does that tell you? The swamp is all lefties and rhinos stealing from the masses and letting DC blacks slaughter one another. Libs' spin on this is, We don't want to see people's rights being trampled. That's their narrative. That's the monolithic narrative from the left about what Trump is doing, as an example, in D.C. And the next stop is L.A., maybe even Chicago, but they're all going to get the same treatment. So we don't want to see people's rights being trampled. How about the right to live in a free, safe, nonviolent, and beautiful capital of our nation, you elite freaks? All right. Take 3. This is a good one. Trump revokes Biden's antitrust executive order. Last week, Trump signed the America First antitrust order, unleashing the new American golden age by removing barriers to innovation and opportunity and limiting regulatory burden on free competition. That's all the way down to Main Street. You try to start a new business, the libs had you tied in knots, okay? That's all being stripped away now. And be patient. It's all going to come. The first thing will be lowering drug prices. That'll be step 1. FTC Chairman Andrew Ferguson, here's what he has to say about it. Today's withdrawal of the Biden-Harris executive order on competition marks another break between the last administration's failed policies and the Trump-Vance administration's focus on protecting everyday Americans from anti-competitive practices through tailored action, promoting economic growth and ensuring that American workers benefit from competition for their labor. Consistent with President Trump's recent executive order, the Trump-Vance FTC is devoting its resources to enforcing the antitrust laws passed by Congress for the benefit of all American consumers and workers, lowering the cost of living, improving the quality of goods and services, and fostering new innovations and leading to ever greater prosperity for our nation. And you know who's the big target of this? Google. They're going after Google with antitrust. They're going to break it up. The thing that is preventing Americans from getting to the truth, constantly being screened away into one monolithic pablum pool of lib information. It's disinformation, and you can't even go and find it. I know. I battle it every single day. Okay? They need to be broken up, and that's on the agenda, and it's coming quickly. Hooah! All right. Take 4. Oklahoma is launching an assessment test for teachers who come from blue states. The first 2 states to be tested are any teachers coming from New York State or California. Here we go. Oklahoma will require applicants for teachers' jobs coming from California and New York to pass an exam that the Republican-dominated state's top education official says is designed to safeguard against radical leftist ideology, by which opponents decry as a MAGA loyalty test. It's not a MAGA loyalty test. I'm going to read you the first 5 questions from it. It's just basic, do you know anything about your country? Do you love your country? It's so ridiculous. And anyway, a MAGA loyalty test, 80% of America identifies as MAGA now, you goofballs. All right, Ryan Walters, Oklahoma's public school superintendent, said Monday that any teacher coming from the 2 blue states will be required to pass an assessment exam administered by PragerU, an Oklahoma-based conservative nonprofit before getting a state teaching certification. It's too beautiful. As long as I am superintendent, Oklahoma classrooms will be safeguarded from the radical leftist ideology fostered in places like California and New York. PragerU, short for Prager University, puts out short videos with a conservative perspective on politics and economics. It promotes itself as focused on changing minds through creative use of digital media. Hey, that's a great idea. Quentin Hitchcock, a spokesperson for the state's education department, said the Prager test for teacher applicants has been finalized and will be rolling out very soon. The state did not release the entire 50-question test to the Associated Press. I wonder why not, but did provide the first 5 questions. And believe me, I'm going to share them with you. Now, let's let the libs scream all their alarm calls, right? Because this is fascism, authoritarianism, all this stuff. These people who want Marxism for our country. This MAGA loyalty test will be yet another turnoff for teachers in a state already struggling with huge shortage. That's from Randy Weingarten, a person who never uttered the truth one time in her life. She was critical of Walters, who pushed for the state's curriculum standards to be revised, I guess, to include, get this, conspiracy theories about the 2020 presidential election. That's a conspiracy, right? It was not a total steal using mail-in ballots. And oh, by the way, Trump is signing the anti-mail-in ballot law. Okay, so libs, you're going to lose that tool. God, it's so awful having to deal with these thieves who have absolutely no moral compass. Randy says his priority should be educating students, but instead it's getting Donald Trump and the MAGA politicians to notice him. And then Tina Ellsworth, the president of a nonprofit National Council for Social Studies, you can just imagine what she has to say. They're all terrified, and guess what? Be terrified. Teachers are not rushing here from other states to teach. We've got an enormous teacher shortage, and it's not like we have a giant supply. Guess what? Teachers who want to teach the truth and not teach indoctrination will be flying to Oklahoma, and more states will be doing this. Walter's office shared 5 sample questions with USA Today. Okay, ready? These are so super hard, and honestly, I don't think a teacher's college can graduate a person who can answer these questions. What are the first 3 words of the Constitution? A, in God we trust. B, life, liberty, happiness. C, the United States. D, we the people. I know you got that one. Why is freedom of religion important to America's identity? It makes Christianity the national religion. Do you believe that? It bans all forms of public worship. Doesn't do that. It limits religious teaching in public life. It protects religious choice from government control. They'll never get that answer right. They want government control of everything. What are the 2 parts of the U.S. Congress? House of Lords and Commons. Nope. Courts and Senate. That's what they want. Executive and legislative, and Senate and House of Representatives. All right. Question 4, how many U.S. senators are there? 435, 110, 50, or 100? And why do some states have more representatives than others? A, they cover a larger geographic area. B, they have held statehood for a longer period. C, the number is determined by military presence. I wish. D, representation is determined by population size. Bring on the census. There's a clue to the answer. We need a census. All right. I love what Oklahoma's doing. I hope more states follow suit. Take five, revival in Britain. While Britain and the EU in general are going to Islamic hell in a handbasket, young folks in Britain, ages 18 to 24, are experiencing revival. Young folks seeking and believing in God have gone from the minority to a 181% increase in the past 3.5 years. This, along with a 56% rise in church attendance in the past 6 years. God knows how to work with us. There's nothing quite like Marxist leadership killing all hope and ushering in the beautiful violence of Islamic peace. The desire for structure and order in the midst of collapse is drawing people to the beauty, the language, the color, the music, and the drama in liturgical worship. Forget all these leftist clowns. Come, Lord Jesus. God bless these young people returning to church. They all need to, and they will. All right, take six. I'm not going to read this story. I just want to cue you up on how despotic NPR is, okay? Remember when NPR was running around saying, oh my gosh, you can't defund us. Rural America is dependent on us, right? It was a big lie. That they have elites living in rural areas in beautiful homes on lakes, and they want to be able to hear leftist news all the time and leftist stories. But rural people, people who live there all year long, they don't give a darn about NPR. So here's what NPR is doing now because they believe we're all stupid rubes. They actually put out a great piece on a annual tractor pull in August in Pennsylvania. But that's how condescending and patronizing they are. Give these morons a tractor pull story and we'll spin it, right? They did a great job with the story. It proves that they could do objective, interesting things about Americana. But no, they need to social engineer everything. So it's the great shame that they could replicate this tractor pull story in 1,000 ways, and everybody would want to listen to NPR. But they can't do it because they're leftist Marxists. So they put out this rural, folksy, patronizing piece on tractor pulls as if it's the biggest cocktail party joke in the world. And then they finish the story with this: our commitment to you will never waver. President Trump has signed the bill that eliminates $1.1 billion of federal funding for public media. Yay! This devastating decision means fewer reporters on the ground, fewer voices that dare to ask difficult questions about tractor pulls, right? Fewer stories that reflect the depth and diversity of our country. We don't need your depth and diversity, okay? There was plenty of diversity in the tractor pull. There's every kind of thing, pulling everything at this thing. So much fun. Just so much American know-how and getting tractors to do the impossible. But here's what will never change: NPR's commitment to you and our mission to create a more informed public. What a total and utter lie. It is such a shame because they could do beautiful stories like this all week long. I would listen to it all the time. If you believe that everyone deserves access to trustworthy, inspirational journalism and programming, now is the time to act. Commit to a recurring monthly gift today to help ensure that this American resource continues to foment leftist garbage. And oh, by the way, don't go out to eat in D.C., right? Just let the 20-year-olds who are paid by Soros run around with megaphones and scream, fascists, fascists, get out of our city. Show us your badges. You know what? I'm so tired of the left. And this transition is happening, whether they're kicking and screaming or whatever they do. The change is coming. All right? So be a part of it. Don't be stupid. Don't listen to this stuff. Don't be manipulated by tractor pull stories. Look at it for what it is. Don't be manipulated by, oh my gosh, reservations at restaurants are down in D.C. Something terrible's happening. Nothing terrible's happening there. It's the left saying we want to keep the oppression of minorities. We want to keep ripping you off of your tax money and naming bills, ridiculous names that do the opposite, and continuing to stuff money in our pockets for slaughtering Ukrainians. Now, 60-year-olds are being drafted. Can you imagine? They are wiping every male out and plenty of females. It's horrible that our money's being used for this. And we have to listen to all this claptrap about democracy. It's unbelievable, okay? We're heading in the right direction. You're heading in the right direction. I want you to please like us, share us, make comments. If you think I'm off the wall, go ahead and tell me. I'm telling you, I'm not a rhino, but I've got rhino skin. You cannot offend me, okay? I want to hear what you have to say. And here's what I have to say. This is for Hump Day. You're going over the top, right? I'm recording it late Tuesday night so that you can get fresh off the griddle news, right? And the news that you can't hear anywhere else, or you'll at least hear it early on. I mean, come on. Where did you hear about the sexual recession, right? Where did you hear about gray sexuals? I'm keeping you tuned up. And here's the rest of the tune-up. I am going to ask the Lord God Almighty to bless you going over the hump today and on the way to the weekend. Remember, we're running out of August. We're running out of summer. Do your absolute best so you can enjoy the rest of the time, and God bless you.